Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am Muzammil Yaqub, lecturer Department of Technology and your instructor for this course, which is Materials and Methods of Construction. Dear students, this is our 12th video lecture. In this video lecture we are going to discuss about timber, its general classifications, about its interior and about its inner structure, and the qualities of a good timber as well. So let's start. First of all, what is timber? So by definition, timber means wood which is suitable for building or any type of engineering and other purposes is known as timber. So in other words, you can say the organic matter obtained from trees is known as wood, or here in this picture you can see the picture of wood. So next comes classifications of trees. So basically the first two main categories of classification of trees are exogenous and endogenous, right? And then exogenous is further divided into two categories. The first one is known as evergreen, and the second category is known as broadleaf trees. So we will discuss these in detail in the later part of this video. So let's start by the first category, which is known as androgynous trees. So basically these trees which grows inwards in longitudinal fibers mass are called androgynous trees. So over here in this slide you can see the picture of androgynous trees, and its examples is, for example, banana, bamboo, palm. So you can imagine the trees of banana and bamboo, so they cannot give us wood for construction purposes. So this is an example of how these kind of trees looks like. So we cannot expect any kind of wood from these trees because it is longitudinal fibers and they are growing inwards. Now next comes exogenous trees. So the trees which grows outwards, right? The previous one was inward, and this one is outwards across horizontal section of stem, called as exogenous trees. So basically these kind of trees are used in construction purposes. So over here in this picture you can see a lot of trees are cut down, and the example of these trees are deer, keel, sal, teak, shisham, cheed. So these are the common examples of exogenous trees. So let's discuss the further two subcategories of exogenous trees. So the first one is known as evergreen category. So evergreen categories, the trees lies in these categories are generally give softwood, and they have pointed leaves. So what is mean by pointed leaves? So over here in this picture you can see these type of leaves are known as pointed leaves, right? The leaf with many faces, right? So for example this is 5 pointed leaves. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So you can call it 5 pointed leaf, right? So the for example, so example of evergreen trees are deer, pine and cedar. So this type of trees is known as evergreen trees. So in this slide you can see the different snaps of trees. The first one is known as pine trees. So you can see how pine trees looks like. Then in second picture these kind of trees is known as deer trees. So this type of trees are normally seen in our northern parts of the country. For example, if you are traveling towards Naran or Kashmir, or you can say towards the Kumrat, so you will see a lot of trees, this kind of trees. and the last one is known as cheed. So this is how the cheed tree looks like. So I added these snaps for your understanding, in case you don't know how pine, deer and cheed tree looks like. Next comes next category of exogenous trees is broadleaf trees. So normally these kind of trees have hardwood, right? And these have broad leaves. So over here in this picture you can see this is called broadleaf, right? So the example of these kind of trees is called shisham, sal or teak, right? So basically these two classifications are on the basis of how their leaves looks like, and on the basis of how their woods are, I mean the wood is hard or how the wood is soft. So I also added this some snaps of these kind of trees. So the first one in this snap, in this picture, you can see you are seeing the trees. Basically these trees are called teak. The second snap in this picture, the sal trees are there, and in the last one these kind of trees are known as shisha, and the wood of these trees are normally hardwood, right? Now let's compare softwood with hardwood trees, right? So on the basis of these six qualities, we will know their qualities, we will know how they perform or about their behavior. So the first quality is annual rings. So in softwoods the annual rings are distinct, and in hardwood the annual rings are indistinct. And the color of softwoods is normally light, and the color of the hardwood is dark. The density of softwood is low as compared to the hardwood. The density of the hardwood is high. The fourth quality or item is fire resistance. So the fire resistance of softwood is very poor, and as compared to hardwood, and hardwood will give you more fire resistance. If we talk about weight, so the softwood normally have lighter weight, and hardwood, as we can imagine, has heavy or more weight as compared to the soft weight. And the last quality is strength. So the strength of softwood is for direct pull and weak for equal resistance thrust, and for hardwood strong for resisting tension, compression and shear. So now you can calculate, and you can select your wood on the basis of these qualities, what type of wood is suitable for your construction purpose. Now let's discuss structure of tree. So from the visibility aspect, the structure of a tree can be studied in the following category. So the category is known as macro structure. Basically macro structure means the structure of a wood visible to the naked eye or at a small magnification is called macro structure, right? So the following figure shows the macro structure of exogenous trees, right? Remember, exogenous trees. And over here there are different notations used, so let's discuss them. So the first one over here, you can see pitch is the innermost central or core of the tree is called pitch or medulla, right? Then comes the hardwood. So the inner annual rings surrounding the what? Surrounding the pitch is known as hard rings. So you can see the part of this snap I am pointing is known as hardwood. And Then comes sapwood. So basically over here you can see the area, the annual rings between the hardwood and cambium layer is known as sapwood. Then comes cambium layer. So basically what is cambium layer? The thick layer, or the thick layer of gap between sapwood, right? This is known as sapwood, and the inner break. This area is means inner break, right? Is known as cambium layer, right? So the in short words you can say the gap between this wood and between these layers, right? So this gap is known as cambium layer. Then comes inner break. So what is inner break? Basically over here this part you can see is known as inner break. The skin or layer covering the cambium layer is known as inner layer, right? You can see this skin covering the cambium layer, so this is known as inner break. Next comes outer break. So the skin cover of the tree is known as outer break, right? Over here you can see the outer break. Basically the outer cleavage or skin of the tree is known as outer break. Then comes medullary rays. So basically the medullary rays, you can see the area which is pointed, the thick radial fibers, right? The thick radial fibers extending, these are known as radial fibers, right? So the thick radial fibers extending from pitch, this area is known as pitch, to the cambium layer. As I discussed in the previous slide, this area is known as cambium layer, are known as medullary rays, right? So this was all about inner structure of the wood. Now discuss some characteristics of a good timber. So normally the first category is appearance. A fresh cut surface of a timber should be exhibit hard and of shining appearance. Or if we talk about color, so the good wood should have preferably a dark color. Then defects, a good timber should be free from serious defect such as knots, flaws, or shacks, right? Then comes durability. A good timber should be durable and capable of resisting the action of fungi, insects, chemicals, physical agents, and mechanical agencies, right? So let's discuss some other qualities as well. Elasticity, this is very important. The timber returns to its original shape, right, when load causes its deformation is removed, right? So for example, you are putting a load on the wood and it's deformed a bit, and then you when you remove the load, so it should return to its original shape, is known as elasticity. Then comes fire resistance. A dense wood offers good resistance to the fire. And then hardness, a good timber should be hard. Then comes mechanical wear. So a good timber should not decorate easily due to the mechanical wear or abrasion. So the last few are shape. A good timber should be capable of retaining its shape during the conversation or seasoning conversions. Seasoning means the storage of timber. For example, you are storing timber or wood for the next year, so the process you need to carry on for the storage is known as seasoning. Smell, a good timber should have sweet smell. Unpleasant smells are indicating that the timber is not of good quality. Then comes sound. A good timber should give a clear ringing sound when struck with each other. And then comes strength. A good timber should be sufficient strong for working a structural member such as joints, beams, and etc. Because as we know, beams and joints normally experience heavy loads and forces. The last three was structure. So the structure should be uniform, toughness, and a good timber should be tough, capable of offering resistance to shock due to vibration. For example, shock means sudden loads, right? And the last is very important, water permeability means a good timber should have low water permeability, which measures the quantity of water filtered through unit surface area of specimen of a wood, right? So these qualities should be present in good timbers. So this was all about our today's video lecture. See you in our next video lecture. So till then, Allah Hafiz.